Welcome to BROSE. I'm Anne, and thank you for joining the conversation. The BROSE performed at One Universe Festival on July 25th, 2026 in Seoul. Now, you may be wondering, why am I covering this particular festival? I mean, for example, they performed at Promenade Jazz Festival, and let's just say right now, they slayed, okay? That was an incredible performance. But One Universe? It was significant. And today, I'm going to explain the story behind why. So stick around. We are going to dish all about the significance of the BROSE returning to a Korean festival stage after so many years. We're going to talk about the fashion. And we're going to talk about why Chemical should cancel the BROSE's hiatus. Wondering why the BROSE's appearance on a Korean music festival is such a big deal? Well, their appearance at One Universe actually marks their return to a Korean festival stage in, wait for it, 7 years. That's right. Their last appearance was in August 2019 at Jeonju Ultimate Music Festival. This is a fact check update. The BROSE actually performed at a Korean music festival on September 3rd, 2022. So there was one appearance at the Someday Music Festival in Seoul following 2019, and they made numerous appearances actually in some other Korean music festivals throughout 2019, which I kick myself because Someday Festival, Anne, you're like low-key obsessed with Woosung's look from this festival. How could you have forgotten the Someday Festival? Now, to understand what took the BROSE so long to come back to a Korean music festival stage, you kind of have to understand the story of the history behind the BROSE. So let me break it down for you. Let's start from where we've left off. August 2019, the BROSE's appearance at Jeonju Music Festival. Following this, the BROSE actually enter into a lawsuit with their current management company, J&Star. This is in February of 2020. Now, this lawsuit actually lasted around 18 months. Thankfully, the BROSE came out of it successfully. They kept their name. They were able to continue to release music, which led to their comeback in 2022 after the Korean citizen members had to finish their mandatory military service. So at this time in 2022, the BROSE signs with actually an American management company, a name a lot of you are probably familiar with, Transparent Arts. And the BROSE worked really hard throughout 2022 and 2023, touring and rebuilding their listener base. Now, don't get me wrong. There have always been a core group of Black Roses in Korea. And many of you could be watching today who are part of that group. And thank you so much for your continued support of the BROSE there in Korea. But the reality is, the interest in the BROSE from Korean media outlets really decreased. This was all about to change with two major events to happen to the BROSE in 2023. Let's start in April 2023. Woosung features on Suga from BTS's song Snooze. Now, I'm sure many of you watching this episode today came to know about the BROSE even through Suga's song Snooze. I know I've said before, this is my entry point to the BROSE. And so this feature catapulted the interest in the BROSE. Secondly, in this same year, 2023, the BROSE made a guest appearance on Jay Park's Korean variety show, The Seasons. After this appearance on Jay Park's show, offers from Korean media outlets came pouring in, and there was a lot of new interest in the BROSE. things were looking great. But this all came to a screeching halt when the story broke in the Korean media of Woo-sung smoking marijuana in the past, long before he ever met the Rose. Now, we all know that in actuality, this is a complete non-story. But unfortunately, it was blown so far out of proportion in the Korean media. And given the severity in Korean society on drugs, despite having no charges brought against him, all the Korean media interest completely stopped. Despite the end of interest in the Rose from Korea media outlets, their popularity in the West continued to soar. I mean, we see the release of Back to Me, which reached number 83 on the Billboard Hot 200 charts. They sold out the Kia Forum that has a capacity of like 17,000. And of course, the iconic and now legendary performance at one of the largest music festivals in the West, Coachella. We've seen the Korean media slowly come back around to the Rose. I mean, for example, the Rose's documentary film, The Rose Come Back to Me, was invited to be screened at the Busan International Film Festival in October of 2025. And this was significant because the film openly talks about this entire situation. And in true The Rose fashion, they weren't trying to hide anything. They were candid, they were open, and they were honest. And I actually think them screening this film and being so open and honest about this situation, I feel like it helped them just take control of the narrative and effectively made this whole thing a non-issue. So it was a really positive sign in May of 2026 when the Rose appeared on NBC's 8 o'clock news, evening news. I mean, they had a whole segment. And this was huge because it's kind of like in the United States, it's like the equivalent of being on NBC nightly news or CBS evening news. I mean, this is a reputable news outlet. So the Rose's appearance, it means this issue was finally put to bed for good. The Rose announced their hiatus in April 2026. And then, according to Woo-sung, offers start pouring in. That's always how it seems to work out, doesn't it? And it seems like a lot of these offers came from various Korean companies and media outlets. I mean, we had the Rose follow up with an announcement of their first ever brand deal with a Korean wellness company, BB Lab, for their product Dual Shot. And we just saw recently 2 more appearances by the Rose on Korean news outlets. One on MBC News Desk, another one on SBS Morning Wide. And then we finally get the announcement, One Universe Festival. The Rose is performing at a Korean music festival. And not too long after that announcement, we actually get a second Korean festival announcement. That's right. The Rose is going to be performing at another Korean music festival, Madly Medley, in September of 2026. And it's just been so amazing to see all of the promotions that the Rose has been doing through their time at One Universe Festival with various types of Korean media outlets. I mean, we had cute reels going out on Instagram with the Rose from Singles Magazine and W Korea Magazine and MMM Magazine, Fast Paper, just to name a few. So let me go into the comments. Thank you so much for my followers for joining the conversation. Let's hear some of your reactions to the Rose's appearance at the One Universe Festival. Pre_Lopez Diaz. She says, seeing the Rose back on a Korean festival stage made me so emotional. After everything they've achieved around the world, watching them get this recognition in Korea was really special. They deserve every bit of it, and I can't stop listening to Chemical. Oh, girl, don't get ahead of me. We're going to dish on chemical. Don't worry about it. Here's another comment from a follower on BROSEcast YouTube. Teray-W9U9S had to say, proud of our boys finally performing in front of Korean audiences. In a world dominated by K-pop boy groups, they're starting to emerge and be recognized in their own country. They're starting to reap the fruits of their hard work. Fighting. Now do you understand why in so many interviews with these Korean media outlets, the Rose admitted how nervous they were at One Universe? I mean, let's face it, there was a lot riding on this performance. But in true the Rose fashion, they slayed this performance. I have to say, coming out of One Universe, there's probably going to only be an increase in interest in the Rose from the Korean media. We'll see. All right, let's move on now to the fashion. The Rose performed decked out in head to literal toe. All right, no, let's not get ahead of ourselves, Anne. In Adidas Originals. Now, many of you were speculating, is this another brand deal that the Rose could be coming out with Adidas Originals? I don't think so, because actually Adidas Originals sponsored the stage that the Rose performed on. And I happened to notice that pretty much every other artist wore Adidas Originals who performed on that stage. So I kind of suspect it probably was a requirement for the Rose to wear. But regardless of that, they looked hot. They looked confident. They looked cool. They looked comfortable. I mean, just look at Hajun. Come on. Adidas, where are you at? Because you need to scoop these four handsome men up. They should be ambassadors for Adidas Originals. One thing I have to say, did anybody notice that the Rose members were wearing Adidas shirts that aligned to the color of their roses? Am I the only one who noticed that? Tell me in the comments if you peeped that out too. I'm not sure if that was on purpose or that was just completely coincidental, but I kind of loved it. It was like this subtle nod. And we have to thank Adidas for providing Woosung with might have been too large of shoes that led to kind of this now iconic and probably what will go down in the Rose lore, the shoe incident, Shoegate. I don't know. It probably is going to have multiple names. But either way, it was a hilarious moment on stage. I want to give a shout out to Starlight the Rose on IG, who happened to capture this incredible moment in this fan cam. I mean, Woosung did his famous kick in Cosmo, and his shoe just completely flew off. I think the funniest part is his facial expression when this happened. But as a true professional, it didn't faze him at all.
It just don't faze me at all.
He quickly put that shoe back on, he recovered, and he kept going on with the performance. I kind of would love to see the other members' faces to see who actually saw this moment happen in action. I feel like Taekyum had a front row seat. I mean, I captured this in the fan cam. Look at Taekyum's face. I feel like he's trying to hide it, but he was watching it from back there and dying laughing the whole time. I love this comment from one of my followers on IG, The Roses Nuna. She says, the energy was unreal. You could tell they were just genuinely relaxed and having the absolute best time up there. Watching them in those Adidas outfits was a whole vibe. They seriously looked like official brand ambassadors. Absolutely incredible. And Woosung's Shoegate? absolutely priceless. Well, if that's what their hiatus will look like, I take it. I love that. So true. Now, the Rose isn't new to dropping unreleased tracks out of nowhere. They did this with California. They played that song in their concerts to preview with their audience before they ever put it on as the B-side to the Red single album in 2019. I mean, they even did this with Back to Me. Some of you may realize that they actually previewed Back to Me at Lollapalooza Stockholm Festival in 2023. So the fact that the Rose came out at the One Universe Festival and previewed an unreleased song, that's not what's incredible. What's incredible is the track itself.
I was standing in the red of 1,000 almost goodbye. Your heart was like nicotine, and your love was like heroin. I was drowning in the bed. The overdose had nearly killed me. Somehow I took the antidote. I'm out. I finally let you go.
I mean, no wonder the night before One Universe Festival, Woo-sung comes on Bubble and is so excited, he figures out the technology enough to leave us a voice memo of him singing the pre-chorus and the chorus. I mean, do we think he went to tech support, aka Clive, and was like, Clive, how do you use the voice memo feature? Either way, you could tell the excitement in his voice. Like, you can just feel that this song is something special. I mean, the chorus is so catchy. I just can't get it out of my head. I mean, to the point that when Tay came on Bubble and he admitted to Black Roses that the Rose is actually gonna switch out Broken Promises for Chemical, I'm actually not sad. Like, I was a little bit bummed when I first heard that, but then I heard the song and I'm like, holy cow, this is a hit in the making. Let's hear what some of you have to say about Chemical. One of my longtime followers on IG, Simone_78T, she has to say, the Rose completely delivered, ate it up, and left absolutely no crumbs. And the live premiere of Chemical was the ultimate golden finishing touch to the set. I have to say, I couldn't agree more. Now, the purpose of today's episode is not to analyze the song Chemical, but let me just give you a little bit of a spoiler, because yes, on the surface, this song is a breakup song, but I have my theories on some deeper meanings. But I'm going to have you wait. You have to wait for a future podcast episode for me to dive into my deeper analysis on Chemical. But back to this song. I couldn't help but laugh, and this whole concept of today's episode honestly came from a follower on my new BROSE Cast YouTube channel. Danny Ramos -VC5TK said, the best comment ever. I have an announcement. Chemical canceled the hiatus. I just loved that. I kept thinking about your comment and kept laughing. And, you know, do I really think that the Rose is going to cancel their hiatus? No, I don't. And just to put it out there, I am very supportive of the Rose taking a break. I'm very supportive of them pursuing individual projects or spending quiet quality time with their friends and their family. They've worked so hard for the last 10 years. They've made a lot of sacrifices, and they deserve this break. They deserve this time. So I'm not saying that Chemical is gonna really cancel the hiatus. I'm just saying that this song, it's special. And I couldn't help but think that this song, it just doesn't feel like a song coming from a band that's about to take a hiatus. It honestly feels like a song coming from a band who's about to climb the charts. All right, after today's episode, I hope you're coming away with a better understanding of the story behind the One Universe Festival performance and why it was so significant that the BROSE made this comeback, this return to the Korean festival stage after so many years. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you joined the conversation in the comments. Tell me what you thought of the One Universe performance. Tell me your thoughts on this episode. All right, see you in the comments. Bye-bye.